Hello and welcome back for my newest review of Feng Suave's third EP, So Much for Gardening. Just over a year after releasing their second EP, Warping Youth, in 2020, Feng Suave decided it was time to bless the fans with yet another batch of songs. This time, though, instead of doing expanding onto a longer EP or an album like they did for Warping Youth, they decided to dwindle it back down to 4 songs. But hey, when you're a Feng Suave fan, you will take what you can get. The title of this EP seems to be aligned much with the subject matter, which is how people are sort of destroying the world in order to better themselves. So things like gardening and taking care of the earth almost seems monotonous and useless to the people who actually try, which I do really like. I think that adds a nice sort of cohesiveness to the entire project, even if you don't exactly see it at certain points. That's still kind of what's keeping it all together is this entire message here. Unweaving the Rainbow Forever starts off the EP on a very angelic and gracious note with very light chords that builds with a great ambiance that sort of contrasts, of course, the actual content of the lyrics of the song, which, is Feng Suave's thing. While we get these very bright instruments playing, our lead singer Daniel sings about many of the bad things going on in the world, such as constant wars around the world and things feeling artificial, and how things are we're taking like real things and certain aspects and replacing them with like things that are likewise but fake. And so what he talks about specifically is like he feels like an animal in a cage at a zoo where they're in this habitat, but it's not real. It's not where they actually live, but it's made to feel that way. The title, though, refers to how humans were given this great amazing planet with all these resources, and we're basically just taking this pureness and we are destroying it, such as unweaving a rainbow, this thing that is untainted, and it is this amazing thing, and we are destroying it for what seems to be our benefit, even if it's harming us in the end. And I think it's a really clever analogy, and I really like that. I think the lyrics to the song are done really well, and it fits great. And I think it's a great start off to the EP, and it is already aligning very well with the title for it. But if you think the first song sounded really light and cheery, well, you've got another thing coming when you start to hear the second track, Come Gather Round. It is a much more cheery sounding song. Of course, we are used to this from Feng Suave because it is not the same for the lyrics. The lyrics for this song, it is from the perspective of a businessman, and it is basically him, saying that he's, investing in the stock market and he's doing really well. He's getting all this money, even if it's at the cost of other people. And I really like the line at the later part of the song. What it is come everyone, gather round. The end of the world is any time now. So hold up both your hands. It's raining money. Grab everything your back will let you carry. As I said, the whole So Much for Gardening thing, again, this is another thing that really ties well into the project's theme, and it is basically the destruction of the world, but some people are so blinded by, in this sense, their greed and their hunger for money and, their own benefit, that even though the world is ending, all they can think about is what are they getting right now. It's a frighteningly realistic view that some people have of the world, and while many of us are basically down here working all the time, doing our everyday jobs just to try and get by and live our ordinary lives, that there are these people in the upper echelon of society that are really lost from reality, and this is their only concern, even if it is the cost of everyone else. I do really love the complete juxtaposition of the lyrics with the instrumentation, as Feng Suave has done many times, but I think it really does well here. In this, the narrator's perspective, it is, pure bliss, and it is great, even if the world around him is so dark. He sees everything, where he is really bright. And this is a major thing of Feng Suave's music, of course. Even more so though is if you check out the music video. It's very funny and it's very like obvious, even more so what the song is about, because it is, both members of Feng Suave, both Daniels. It is them in business suits with fake mustaches and wigs on, and that it's them going around, looking at expensive jewelry and expensive clothing and expensive cars. And even at one point in the music video, it is them literally dancing in front of what I'm pretty sure is the New York Stock Exchange building. I know it has the like the stocks above them, on the screen, like going by. I'm pretty sure it's the New York one. But yeah, it's very funny, and it is just, I think it adds another layer to the song, and I think they do their music videos really well, even if this one is sort of just like, I could go out and make this music video if I wanted to. It's very cheap, and they probably had to get permission to film these places, and like that was it. For the next song, we do really slow things down. Show Me is one of the slowest songs actually from the group entirely, not just for this project. But I think it is one that is massively underrated and has gone from being one that wasn't my least favorite, but just wasn't one I paid too much attention to. But now it is one that I think is, great, and it is one that I probably revisit the most at this point. While listening to this, I found this like newfound appreciation for it and have really fallen in love with it. But it took me kind of a while to really kind of figure out what this one was about. And I kind of perceived to the song of being about basically sort of how we see in Come Gather Round, that some people like they want more and more and more and they can never get enough and the greed takes over. This one is about taking what you have and just enjoying your life for what it is. Of course, that's very hard sometimes, but it's basically to try and remember that your dreams aren't everything. Sometimes you have to appreciate where you are and what you have now. And that is really replicated in the lyrics, which is, show me we don't need nothing except for all there is, to breathe and to be seen. So take my hand and break my dreams. As I have said, I have begun to view the song as one of Feng Suave's best, and I think that while this message isn't so nihilistic as some of the other tracks, even just on this EP, it's a message that is really resonates and is true to life. And people are always wanting much more out of everything, especially nowadays, where you see how, all these people, everyone wants to be rich and everyone wants to be famous or to be like an influencer or a streamer, or just everyone wants to be famous now. That it isn't so much of a necessity as it's just something that people, see all the time, and now they want it more. But, sometimes you just have to enjoy the little things in life, which, as he says, is to breathe or to be seen. And I think it's a great message, and yeah, I really love that they slowed it down for this one. I love the sort of, I guess, the bridge that you would say, even there's no lyrics, but just the instrumental bridge, which does pick up a little bit and does become a little bit more grand. I really like that. But yeah, I love the slowness, and I like the way that Daniel changes his voice on these slower songs. He usually is singing in a bit of a falsetto for most songs, especially in songs like Come Gather Round. He's at the high register, but I like the way he kind of goes a bit more natural for these songs, and it's much more relaxed, and he's taking his time with every word, and I really like that. I think it really builds to the sort of atmosphere of the song. Tomb for Rockets is the final track, and it was also the lead single for this project, and it had me super excited right from the jump. This one feels a lot like something that would be from their self-titled debut EP. And while I feel like the first three songs had pretty clear messages that were easy stories to follow, I really have no exact idea what this song is about. I feel like it's like layered full of messages, but I really just can't pinpoint any one of them. So that part I can't really talk about too much. I mean, I have like lyrics that I really like in here, but I can't necessarily pinpoint a clear, concise message through it. But I can say that the music here is fantastic. The song always reminds me of a nice summery day with its easygoing drums. They're very light, but yet they add like a lot. They're not like so in your face, and they're and then the very breezy and light background vocals throughout the entire song that aid Daniel through the whole track. I really love. I'm not sure if it's just like their touring vocalists, the people they take with them that are doing the background vocals, but the people here do an incredible job, and I absolutely love what they do on here, especially on the outro when they are much louder and singing exactly with him on the same level. Now for the highest high section of the video. Best vocal performance is going to be for Come Gather Round. I think that even though I love what he's doing on Show Me personally the best, I think that best overall performance is definitely Come Gather Round, with him really holding this falsetto really well, and some of these notes that he's keeping is during the chorus mostly, as I think really impressive, so I have to give it to them there. I think the best production is going to be Show Me. Oftentimes, I think when Feng Suave decides to slow it down, they do it really good. And I think this is just a song of great exception. And, just even though it's so much slower, I feel like there's so much still here. Like I said, especially on that bridge when it becomes very grand. And it's just fantastic. The production on this is, I think, flawless. And it is one of their best that they've released to date. Best songwriting, I will give to Come Gather Round. I really like the whole juxtaposition of the dark world that this takes place in. We get the narrator's like bright outlook on life, and the whole storytelling of the whole thing. It's almost like funny how dark it is. Especially if you watch the music video. You see them dancing around. It's like businessmen dancing around and getting all this money, but the world is crumbling, and I really like the atmosphere that they built and sort of how that they get that across for the song. My favorite line is going to be from Tomb for Rockets, and it is, "What's the use of looking up? Heaven's just a tomb for rockets." And as I said, I'm not exactly sure what the message of the song is. I do think that this line has something to do with the overall message of the track, but yeah. That's my favorite line. I just really like how it sounds, and I like that the title comes through at that point. I was having a really hard time initially reviewing this record because the first two songs, it's not that I didn't like them or they were bad in any sort of the sense. I think that every song that Feng Suave has put out is fantastic, but I just didn't like them as much. They are two of the songs that I revisit, I would say, the least in their entire discography that they have, even if it's only like 15 songs. But the two closing tracks, ironically, are some that I visit the most in their entire discography. So it's very hard for me to get an exact score on the whole thing. But overall, I think I'm feeling about a 70% here. As my enjoyment level, and so yeah, that's what it is for now. This is, as of recording this is the latest thing Feng Suave has released, so for now, this is going to be my last Feng Suave review. Of course, whenever or if they ever release anything else, I'm going to review it, and I am anxiously looking forward to it. I know that they finished a tour not too long ago, I think, somewhere in Europe, and they are releasing live videos of them doing, different performances of all their songs. So hopefully that means that once that's sort of over, they're going to start recording and releasing something very soon. So I'm very excited for that. Please subscribe to see more. I will see you in the next video. Of course, check out my Instagram and TikTok for my random song suggestion series. And thank you for watching. Bye now.